who don't even know what fractals are. We will
Good.
learn how to make
We
a
know
lot of
nothing.
gold from fractals and how to get a full set of ascended armor, weapons, and trinkets just by doing fractals every day. There are also a lot of core Tyria mastery points you can get from fractals, which is especially helpful for new players.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Fractals of the Mists, or Fractals for short, are a series of level 80 dungeons that are designed to be done as a group. Each dungeon
Makes
is
sense.
called a Fractal Island. To get started, go through the Fractal Portal, and there are two locations for them. There is one in Lion's Arch,
Alright.
and another one in the Mistlock Pass that you can buy from the gem store. The first
I
thing
didn't
you
know
will
that was a thing.
notice is that Fractals has a total of 100 levels, but as you can see, they are not 100 different levels. Lots of them are repeated at different levels.
That makes
As you
sense.
go
They
to
just get
higher
harder, right?
levels, the Fractals get a little harder, mobs will do more damage, and they will have more health. And in
Makes
high
sense.
levels, some of the mechanics become a little harder, and you may even see completely new ones. But at the same time, you get better loot from the mobs, higher chance of exotic and ascended drops from the end chest, and in general,
Makes sense.
better rewards. Those 100 levels are grouped up into 4 tiers. Each tier is 25 levels.
Okay.
Once you enter a fractal, you will notice on the top
One.
right corner 3 things: the
Fractal
fractal
level
difficulty
100.
level, and you can also change it while inside the fractal itself. You will find a panel that you can interact with
Oh.
and change to whatever level you want. Next, you will see the fractal name, and the last thing you will notice is a personal fractal level. Everyone starts at personal level 1, and
Makes
anytime you do
sense.
a fractal that is equal to or higher than your own personal level, it will go up by 1. The personal level is important for few reasons. When it gets higher, some of your rewards will start improving, and when you go through the portal, you can only open fractals up to your own personal level. You cannot choose higher than that.
So
And
ideally,
last,
you would
if
want
you
somebody
look at
else
the
to open
fractals of the
fractals for you.
Mist's LFG tab, you will notice that it is divided into 4 tiers. You can see all the tabs, but you will only unlock the ones up to or close to your personal level. Once you join a
Okay.
party,
Makes
the
sense.
highest level of fractal your party can open will be determined by the player with the highest personal level, and you can know that if you hover on the LFG itself. It will tell you the party's fractal scale. This is the highest personal level in your party. And the last thing you will
It seems
notice
pretty
is a
simple.
number besides each character
It kind of
in
seems
the
like
party. This is
tower climb
something called
dungeons.
agony resistance, which we will cover in details later. And that is all you need to know to get started with fractals from level 1 all the way to level 19. As you go above that level, you will
Makes
be
sense, yeah.
introduced
Okay.
to new mechanics like agony and fractal instabilities, which again I will cover later in details. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and enable the
This is a good video.
notifications
Like,
to
honestly,
see more guides
does a really
and
good job
know
of
when the new
explaining.
ones are
In my
posted.
opinion, I like my videos to be a little bit more high energy,
Now
but
let's talk about
everybody
the
has their difference,
fractal
right?
reward system in details.
He's probably
It
trying
is
to stay
divided
consistent.
into 4 different
So,
types. At the end of each fractal, you will get a chest that contains some loot. The higher the level of the fractal you are doing, the better the rewards are. Those can
makes sense.
include ascended armor and weapon boxes, and also ascended rings and accessories, and many other valuable items. However, the ascended rewards drop more often at the higher levels.
Obviously,
Next,
because like
there is a
if
tab
not, everybody would
called
just run the
Daily
base one and
Fractals.
just
This will
like
include
spin to
2
win, right?
types of dailies. The first one is called Daily Recommended, and this requires you to do certain fractals at certain levels. The other type is called
Okay.
Daily Tier, and this is 3 different fractals that are repeated across different.
Okay. So basically, it's the tier. So it's like you can either do it at the level, the scale, right, or you can do it at the tier. So there's like the tier 1, the tier 2, the tier 3, and the tier 4. And then it's gonna be like you're gonna do tier 2 solid ocean. It doesn't matter what you do it on, like what difficulty. But then you can do it at then there's the ones that tell you like the difficulty, and then those ones you actually have to like pay attention to a little bit more because it's like do it on level 72 or something like that.
different tiers. If you do those
Makes
3
sense.
fractals on a higher tier, you automatically get the daily rewards for the lower one as well.
That's
For
cool.
example,
You can just do them
if you did those
like really
fractals
easily then.
at tier 2 levels, then you will get the daily rewards for all the 3 fractals from tier 1 and tier 2. And last, we have weekly rewards for each tier, and you can find them in the Fractals of the Mists tab. There is a weekly reward for each tier, and all you need to do is to finish a certain number of fractals at different levels.
So if you're doing your
However,
weeklies,
they need to
you
be
easily get that done.
unique fractals. The reward for all the tiers are the same. You get 2 gold and a chest that contains some loot. Now keep in mind that all of those rewards do not include the loot you get from killing mobs and bosses as you progress, which in some cases can be very valuable. All the rewards we have been talking about so far can be used in different ways. Some of them can be sold directly to the trading post. You also get some unique currencies only available in fractals. And those
Makes
can be
sense.
used to buy
Oh,
ascended
so you
rings
can.
that have core tier stats in
Oh,
them.
so
Like
instead
for
of
example,
using laurels, you can do that. That's pretty good.
Berserker. You can also buy stat selectable ascended trinkets that include all the stats in the game. Those are the most powerful ascended trinkets in the game because you can reset them anytime you want using this item, and you can also equip 2 of the same ring and accessory at the same time. On top of that,
Okay.
you can buy stat selectable ascended armor and
Oh,
weapons also from
that actually looks
fractals
badass.
using their unique currencies. I will make a separate video that will cover all the details you need to know to get ascended gear from fractals. Another reward you will get in
Scam.
fractals is called encryptions, and this will be your main source of gold from fractals. You can make a lot of gold just by selling those encryptions
Okay.
or opening them and selling the junk you get from them, which is very valuable. I will make a separate video that explains in details how to make some gold from fractals. But the most important thing to know is that all of the rewards and currencies we mentioned so far to buy ascended gear and to make some gold are inside the daily tiers and the daily recommended chest. So
Basically,
try
like
and do
I
them.
don't think I need to watch those other videos to figure it out. It's you do the dailies, right? If there's weeklies, you do the weeklies, and then you just probably grind out them at max tier. It's probably the best way to do it if I had to really guess.
Every day if possible. We mentioned that there are some new mechanics you will see when you are at higher levels. One of them is called Mistlock Instabilities, and this starts at level 26. If you hover on each fractal, you can see what instability it will
There's
give you.
your okay, bro.
Instabilities are an added mechanic to the fractal
I
itself.
want to read it,
They
but
can be anything from
it's fine.
exploding enemies when they die, to more boons on the enemies, or them applying more conditions. Most of them are easy to handle, and only few of them can make the fractal much harder than it is.
Okay.
At tier 2, you only get one
Boons enemies
instability.
have.
In tier 3, you get 2, and in tier 4, you
You get
get
3.
3 instabilities. The other mechanic is called Agony.
This
Starting
basically
from
buffs to
level
the
20,
enemies.
the last bosses in Fractals will do a special attack that will do damage called Agony.
Okay.
Most of the time, you cannot block, dodge, or avoid it, and it is not affected by toughness or vitality. It will take away a percentage of your health. The attack itself only pulses for a couple of seconds, and it looks like a red circle flashing on your bar.
So basically, if you're low HP, you just instantly die. That's what he's saying. But if you're not low HP, you should be chilling.
This can only
That's what
be
I imagine it
countered
to be.
by adding agony infusions inside your ascended armor, weapons, or trinkets that will raise your agony
Oh,
resistance.
so you need like 2
You cannot
sets.
put that
Then
on exotic gear, only on ascended. To know how much agony resistance you have, go to your heroes
okay,
panel
so you
and
need a
check
few
this
pieces before you
bottom
can
row.
really do
It
much.
will tell you agony resistance and it will show you how much do you have. Each fractal will have a
You don't
minimum
need it until
requirement
you're
of
20.
agony resistance. Below 20, you don't need any agony resistance or any ascended gear. But once you go into level 20, you start needing some agony resistance.
Okay,
And the higher
makes
you
sense.
go, the more agony resistance you will need. At the top right corner of each fractal, if you are doing above level 20, it will tell you the suggested agony resistance you need to be able to survive this fractal.
Makes
There
sense.
is a
That's
red
like having every
circle
single
that
piece of
represents
your
the
gear.
agony attacks you will take from bosses. This can be useful if you want to test how much damage you will take from the agony. If the difference between the required agony and what you have is very big, you will most likely just get one shot. The required agony for this fractal is 150, and I only have 90.
Okay. So he doesn't get one shot, but it's something where like if he basically wasn't paying
But
attention, he
now
would just
I
instantly
put
die.
all my trinkets back, and I have 170 agony resistance, which is more than enough.
Okay. Oh, and he takes like nothing. So it makes a
As you can
huge difference
see,
then.
it is not that bad at all.
So
I will make
then
a
what we're seeing is we want to basically have 2 different sets then. Actually, we'll probably want 3 sets at this point. So we'll probably want a set, all of them basically the same gear, but have a set that has agony resistance, and then have like a set that has that's like for open world that we just do pure damage with, and then probably just do it that way. I think that's probably the best way to do it, right? Just literally crank it out like that.
separate guide that will show you how to go all the way from having no AR at all until you get
We'll
150, which
probably
is the
start
highest
grind out
required
fractals
for
like
the
next week.
level 100 fractal. Another thing that is unique to fractals are some potions you can only use while inside fractals. There are 3 types. Offensive potions, which will increase your damage and condition damage by 3% per stack.
Okay.
Mobility, which will increase your speed by 5% and your endurance by 10% per stack. And then last, defensive potions, which will reduce the damage you take by 5% per stack.
That's
Those
pretty good.
potions can be stacked up to 5 times. So all the numbers I mentioned right now can be multiplied by
So that's
5.
15%
As you can
total
see,
with the
those
offensive
are
one.
significant numbers and will make your life much easier in fractals. You don't really need them in lower fractals. However,
Makes
once you
sense.
go higher, especially in tier 4, they become almost a must, and most groups will require them at least. They can be the difference
Makes
between
sense.
everyone staying alive with no problem or everyone dying regardless of the composition. And those potions have 2 certain categories. You can either buy the normal ones and stack them together up to 5 times, or you can buy the large ones directly and it will be as 5 stacks altogether. The price is the same. There is another type called Anguished
Yeah, okay, they
Tear
are the
of
same.
Alba, and this will
Fixed
increase your
effectively,
agony
purchase
resistance
limit.
if you didn't have enough for a certain fractal. You can buy one
Oh,
of those
that's
potions
kind of
as a
cool, but
temporary
I feel like that's kind of
solution
a waste.
until you raise
I
your
think the
own
best way to do
agony
it would just be to
resistance.
grind the
Keep
lower
in
ones
mind
until you
that
get it.
those
Get what you
potions
need.
will also drop as a part of the daily recommended chest and the daily tier chest.
Oh, so you don't have to buy them all the time.
The last thing we will talk about are the fractal masteries. You will find them inside the central Teria category, and they are 4 masteries in total. The
Okay.
first mastery will enable you to see all the dailies and all the tabs inside the merchants. The second mastery will increase your rewards a little, and they will also give you certain items that will enable you to attune your rings. This is something we will talk about later when I cover how to get 150 AR in details. And
Okay.
last, they will make your potions work a little bit better. The third mastery will
You
give
need
you
bonus
even
rewards
more
from chests.
rewards as you do
Oh,
fractals,
so you need to
and
like,
they will make your
if you really
potions
want to
even
get a lot of
better.
money from this,
The
then you need to
last
basically grind these
mastery
out.
will enable you to use the item you see on the screen now, which is called Mistlock Singularity.
Okay.
This is something you will find inside every fractal, and it has a couple of benefits. If you use it, all your skills on cooldown will recharge right away. It will also increase your aggro
Oh,
resistance by 5. And the last benefit is it will prevent you from dying. Because if you ended up taking some damage that is going to kill you while you have that effect, instead of you getting downed, it
wait,
will
that's
insta-rally
busted.
you, heal you for a
That's
little
really,
bit
really good.
more, and you can continue fighting. And those are all the details you need to know
So
about
ideally, you wouldn't
fractals
want
to
to
get
spam it.
started.
You'd save
Some
it.
of this information
Maybe
I
I
just
don't know.
mentioned in a general way
Depends on like I
because I
guess where
will
the fight
still
is,
make
right?
detailed videos about them, and I didn't want to make this video about an hour long. If you had any questions or anything was not clear, please let me know in the comments below, and I will get back to you. Don't forget to subscribe and enable the notifications to know when
That was a really, really good video. He actually described it, broke it down pretty well. So